Those of you that understand the military system recognize rankings. And you also understand someone who outranks you. And when someone outranks you and they come into the room, there is protocol to give respect to the one who outranks. Right? However, in a coup situation, in a situation where morale is down and leadership has been wicked, many times there's no respect for the leadership. All right, I don't need to paint the picture, but people, the church has been in that arena. And so then all of a sudden we find ourselves in a place where, okay, who can we trust and how do we get there and what are we going to do and who do we show respect to? But what we're going to find is this. In the last day army of God, God has set some apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, to equip them to do the work of the ministry. But when it comes to spiritual ranking, the ranking that you will walk in is going to be directly proportionate to what you use by what you've been given. Because we've all been given the measure of Christ, the measure of faith. And so therefore, it does not matter where you have come from in relationship to what you're operating in now. If you begin to use the authority that God's given you, you will find that when you walk into a room, you're carrying something that devils fear and tremble. I've shared this testimony before. Actually, let me read a couple things, and I want to share a quick testimony, and I'll close. As we, praise God. I'll get that next week. Okay. Authority. So we're going to start talking about authority. We're going to talk about what authority really is and what it means to you. We're going to talk about what it is, who you are because of it, and when you're supposed to use it, and how to use it. But here's what I want you to first of all recognize. The word authority in the Greek right here. Because in the next verse in Matthew 28, Jesus in the resurrection, speaking to the disciples, they feared him, began to worship him. In verse 18, Jesus stood and spoke unto them and said, all authority. How much is left out of all? Okay. All authority is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Well, see, Pastor, right there, you're saying that Jesus has all authority. Yes, he has all authority, and then he commissions us to use the authority that he's been given because we have become his. We are not just disciples. Remember, we talked about it several months ago. It is enough for a disciple to be as his master. So we're not saying, well, see, Jesus has all authority, and I just got to wait on Jesus to show up and do it. No. Because he goes on to say, all authority, all authority in heaven and earth is given unto me. Go therefore into all the world and preach the gospel. And you're going to find that I'm going to back you up. You're going to find I got your back. You're going to find that the power that I garnered when I took the keys to death, hell, and the grave from Satan, I am making available to you in every circumstance of life. When the enemy has spoken something against you, I have given you authority to counter it and overcome it. When the enemy has tried to bring destruction against you, I've given you power, authority to counter it and overcome it. And so Jesus said, all authority is given unto me. The word authority in the Greek is the word exousia, but I want to give you four primary understandings of what authority is. Number one, it's the power of choice. The first understanding of authority is power of choice. When you are a slave, you don't have the power of choice. You only have the power of obedience. When you are a servant, you don't have the power of choice. For some of us, in our natural positions in administrative operations and corporate operations, we might have limited authority because we've earned the respect to make decisions, but our decisions are always subject to those who are over us to change them, to challenge them, or to strike them down. All right? That's not always bad because your decision is always subject to Christ, but what I want you to understand is that the power of choice and authority, God has given you the ability to have the mind of Christ so that you would choose what He would choose. And the reality behind this statement is, for most of us as Christians, we understand the choices that we're presented with, and most of the time, you know immediately what's the right choice and what's the wrong choice. Power of choice, authority.